Susan Lennox. Introduction. What would Paris be without the Eiffel Tower, or Dubai without its famous Burj Khalifa Tower? All over the world, cities are recognizable by a silhouette of structures reaching skyward to form their skylines. Architectures and skylines are unique identifiers of places, such as your fingerprints or one-of-a-kind identifiers of you. Unlike fingerprints, however, skylines don't stay the same forever. They change. Manhattan in New York City is a great example of a place whose skyline, seen both changes. Skyscrapers have risen, fallen, and risen again, from its roof to an indigenous homeland, to colonize the Dutch to its current status as a major world hub. New York's skyline has evolved to reflect the changing times. Growing the Big Apple, New York City wasn't always a towering metropolis. It was home to indigenous tribes prior to the arrival of Dutch settlers in the 17th century. In 1609, Dutch explorer Henry Hudson sailed the half-boat into the mouth of the river that would eventually be called the Port of New Amsterdam. Eventually, New Amsterdam was taken over by the British and renamed New York. The British port continued to expand and grow well into the 1700s. By the time the American Revolution had begun, thousands of buildings were typically packed on the street of South Manhattan Island. Further expansion occurred during the 19th century as New York turned into a major American city, when its increasingly diverse population and its skyline grew rapidly. The end of Civil War in 1865 brought proof of formerly enslaved people north in search of work. Immigrants from Ireland, Poland, and Italy followed, thus diversifying the growing city. Many refugees and immigrants seeking opportunity make their homes on New York City's Manhattan Island. By the late 1800s, New York was the most densely populated in the United States. By 1925, it was the most densely populated city in the world. All the living still residents needed places to live, work, and shop. The city's borders gradually kept northward as new stores, factories, and homes were built. Manhattan Island, however, it is only about 23 square miles in area. It wasn't long before buildable sites became few far and between. Eventually, there was no more room for the city to expand at the ground level. The only place to go was skyward. To do that, new building methods had to be employed. Up until then, traditional construction methods used wall to support a building's weight. Since the wall on the first floor had bear the weight of all floors and roof above them, they had to be particularly sturdy. Consequently, building height was limited, as there were no protocol to build walls strong enough to support with many floors. A new construction method used steel frame instead of walls to support a structure. Enormous steel beams were connected together to form a building skeleton. The walls were hung from the beams, much like a curtain from a rose, and attached a model to the floor. With this method, the walls of a building's upper floor were not weighting down on the wall beneath them. The bulk of their weight was instead distributed along the steel beam holding them. steel frame construction made it possible for buildings to reach new heights. By the turn of the 20th century, New York City has a number of huge structures dubbed skyscrapers. Soon, skyscrapers going up one after another as builders and architects competed to make the world's tallest building skyscrapers. By the late 1920s, New York City's skyline had risen to a new height. It was during this time that two of the city's most famous landmarks were built. In 1928, a 27-story Chrysler Building was under construction and locked in a floor-by-floor duel for the title of the world's tallest, with another building being erected nearby. So fierce was the competition for this title was the Chrysler Builder Smuggle, a tall spire on the top of his structure. The second planned work, the Chrysler Building, became the world's tallest structure and only one taller than 1,000 feet. But the Chrysler Building, where it was short-lived, just a block away, still very beautiful, was rising. The Empire State Buildings will take the crown for the world's tallest. Workers broke ground at the Empire State Building in January 1930. Amazingly, it was completed just 410 days later, thanks to more than 3,000 workers contributed skills and labor. The 103-story steel and granite building stood over 1,040 feet. 64 elevators carry people from the ground to the 80th floor in less than 1 minute. An outsider observation deck on the 86th floor and an inside deck on the 102nd floor provide a panoramic view of the city. The Empire State Building became a popular symbol of New York City. It was named one of the seven wonders in the modern world and featured in many books and movies. It wore the crown of the world's tallest building for nearly 40 years, until it deposed by the three giants rising downtown. Three giant rise that fall. After the Empire State Building was built, skyscraper construction fell off a slump due to a struggling American economy. It was not until 1970 that the city skyline would grow even higher. In 1960, city's officials considered building a World Trade Center hub for international commerce in Lower Manhattan. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey was in charge of the project. Architect Bruno Yamazaki, a Detroit-born Japanese-American, proposed three towers at the port of the multi-complex of office and storefronts. The 110-story tower will include some structural innovations. On the morning of September 11, 2001, hijackers flew. Yeah. Hijackers flew two passenger jets into the tower. Within an hour to the attack, the South Tower began to collapse and crumble to the sound. The North Tower followed 30 minutes later. New Yorkers were in stunned and disbelief as these enormous structures were reduced to a heap of the burning rubble. Nearly 3,000 people died as a result of the attack. A new tower rises from the ashes. The World Trade Center tragically devastated New York and the rest of the country. New Yorkers mourned the loss of the neighbors and landmark. They vowed to rebuild an even bigger, better World Trade Center site. Excavating the ruins of old towers took time. Plans for the site took 6 years to develop. There were many ideas in ocean on what should be done, and many designs were submitted with considerable controversy. Finally, the Port Authority unveiled the design for the new World Trade Center complex. One area was set aside as a memorial park for those who lost their lives that day. The site where original building stood or now reflecting pool with cascading waterfalls. A memorial museum contains historical artifacts from the old towers. Nearby, a new 104-story tower has been constructed, nicknamed the Freedom Tower. The structure rises at a basic 1,776 feet, symbolizing the year of the United States independence from British rule and making it taller than the original towers. The glass octagonal shape with a reflective surface that mirror changes in light around it. At the top is the spire equipped with a light beam that is visible for miles. Several other high-rise buildings were being constructed at the site as well. By 2021, four of the six new towers built for the World Trade Center complex were complete. In addition to the memorials and museum, New York's ever-changing skyline will reflect the resilient and spirit of a city that continues to adapt and grow.
Good job! perfect score.